Paddy Pimblett just went off on Ilia Topuria, throwing shots from every direction. He claimed Topuria was handed a free title shot, called him an easier fight than Arman Tsarukyan, and even accused him of stealing Conor McGregor's entire persona. Paddy doubled down, saying if he'd been given that same easy path, he'd already be wearing UFC gold. And here's where it gets wild. Arman himself confirmed that Pimblett versus Topuria is currently the UFC's top plan for the lightweight title. On top of that, Spanish reporter Alvaro Colmenero revealed that the UFC wants to kick off 2026 with a mega card under their brand new Paramount deal, with Ilia front and center, most likely against Paddy. In his 20-minute sit-down with Spanish media, Paddy laid everything on the table. His original plan was a #1 contender fight against Justin, but when Justin turned it down, the UFC changed course. Now, Paddy says all his energy is locked on El Matador, and he's promising to outwork and out-wrestle the Georgian champ when they finally collide. Both men believe the matchup favors them. Ilia says Paddy's head movement is non-existent and predicts an easy knockout. Meanwhile, Paddy insists Ilia's grappling is overrated and claims he had the smoothest road to a title in UFC history. Think about it. Paddy said he beat Ryan Hall, Josh Emmett, and Bryce Mitchell. That's it. That's one of the easiest title runs I've ever seen. Michael Chandler beat tougher guys before even fighting Volk. And let's be honest, Ilia only won because Volk stepped in after being knocked out weeks earlier. Everything lined up perfectly for him until he fights me. Paddy added he'd happily take another fight before the title shot, but made it clear this is the matchup fans want. He reminded everyone of their heated history, saying it's the biggest money fight the UFC could make right now, and one they can't afford to miss. When comparing challenges, Paddy admitted Arman Tsarukyan is actually a tougher stylistic matchup than Ilia. In his words, Arman's more of a true lightweight with better grappling. He's just a harder fight overall.
I think Ilia had the easiest road to the belt. He had to beat Josh Emmett to get a title shot. He beat Ryan Hall, Josh Emmett, Bryce Mitchell. That was one of the easiest routes I've ever seen to a title shot. Michael Chandler had beat Josh Emmett, Bryce, and I really like Bryce, you know what I mean? I really like Josh Emmett. They're good fighters, but Michael Chandler had beat all of the people he fought before he fought Volk. And he wouldn't have beat Volk if Volk wasn't knocked out like 8 weeks earlier, 12 weeks earlier. You know what I mean? Everything's happened at the right time for Topuria, apart from when he fights me. I would do another fight before the title shot, but I keep saying, I just think it's the fight to make. You know, me and Ilia have got history. It's going to make the UFC more money than any other fight that they could do, really. So they need to make it. I think stylistically, Arman's a tougher fight than Ilia. But he's more of a proper lightweight. I think he's got better grappling than Ilia. So everyone fights each other different, and I just think stylistically Arman will be a tougher fight for me.
Meanwhile, Jon Anik and Kenny Florian couldn't stop praising Diego Lopes after his incredible win over John Silva at UFC Noche. They believe Lopes has everything it takes to eventually become champion. Sure, he lost to Alex Volkanovski, and fans aren't dying to see a rematch just yet, especially with Lerone Murphy now lined up for a title shot after that insane spinning elbow KO of Aaron Pico, but Diego just took a huge step forward. One more big performance could put Lopes right back in title talks. The complication? Movsar Evloev. He already holds a win over Lopes and is considered the most deserving contender, but an injury has kept him sidelined. Even Volkanovski himself praised Diego's latest showing, saying he's a future threat, but reminded fans that guys like Murphy and Evloev are still in the mix. The featherweight division is stacked, and Diego's name is climbing the list. Here's what Jon and Kenny had to say. When Volk beat Lopes, that was vintage Volk. Not many fighters would have beaten him in that form, but Diego showed he's aggressive, exciting, and loves to inflict damage. That star power will only grow. If he sharpens his defense and decision-making, he absolutely has championship potential.
And the night upon which Alexander Volkanovski beat Diego Lopes, I just think he got vintage Volk, and not a lot of guys were going to beat Volk in that flow, fainting, perfect state that night. So can Diego Lopes win a world championship? I certainly think he can. And, what did you learn about Diego Lopes, if anything, in these, however many minutes, nearly 2 rounds?
He loves to do damage. He's extremely aggressive. He's exciting to watch. So I think this is going to make him that much more of a star. Now, can he get the belt? Yeah, I think he can. I think he's certainly talented enough to do it. But we did see him get exposed against a high-level striker like a Jon Silva. So I think if Diego can refine his defense much more with the striking, and make better decisions about how he enters in with some of his ground stuff, I absolutely think he can be a champion in that division.
Now on to Alex Pereira, who just dropped a bomb in his latest YouTube upload. He revealed that he ran into Magomed Ankalaev and his team at the UFC PI, and according to Pereira, it was embarrassing. Pereira claimed Ankalaev literally ducked into a small room the second he saw him coming. The former champ didn't hold back, calling Ankalaev a terrible champion and a disgrace to the sport. Pereira even joked that Ankalaev might try climbing out of the cage mid-fight when they rematch. The disrespect was heavy, and Pereira made it clear he sees nothing but weakness in Ankalaev's mentality. This rematch is on fire. Pereira looks laser-focused on reclaiming the belt, while Ankalaev insists this time he won't leave it to the judges. He promises to finish Pereira. October is closing in fast, and the bad blood is hotter than ever.
Uma coisa até engraçada que aconteceu ali agora, a saída do PI, né? Eu vi ali o treinador do Ankalaev, eu fiquei ali na minha, mas não vi o Ankalaev. O engraçado foi na hora que eu saí do PI, e aí quando eu cheguei no carro, né, um cara do meu time, né, tava lá dentro ainda, né, e viu, tipo, a menina do PI falando pro Ankalaev, pode vir, ele já foi embora já, tipo, porra, escondendo o cara, escondendo o cara na salinha ali, velho. O cara acha que eu vou encontrar ele e vou sair brigando com o cara, velho. Pô, eu sou idiota, né, velho. Mas o ponto de o cara se esconder na sala, velho, porque eu tô no mesmo ambiente, velho. Ah, pô, o cara é um frouxo, velho. Esse é um... Mas aí, tipo, que campeão é esse, velho? Que campeão de merda, velho. Aí, achei a única besteira que eu falei, velho. Mas é um campeão de merda, velho, um cara desse. Mas sabe por quê? Não pelo que ele fala, mas hoje tem que se esconder numa sala, velho. Demonstrou que é um cagão, velho. Vamos ver.
And speaking of UFC 320, let's talk about the co-main event between Merab Dvalishvili and Cory Sandhagen. The champ says he's going to knock Cory out, but Cory immediately fired back, calling that idea terrible and warning Merab not to underestimate him. Sandhagen knows Merab's pressure, pace, and cardio are no joke, but he also made it clear trading strikes with him is a mistake. Meanwhile, Merab's coaches insist he's leveled up massively since his slick submission win over Sean O'Malley, claiming every aspect of his game has transformed. With so much confidence on both sides, this fight is shaping up to be one of the most electric co-mains of the year, and it could completely reshape the bantamweight landscape depending on the outcome. Here's Cory's take. Merab makes people exhausted. We've been pushing hard this camp, fighting smart, defending takedowns, and getting right back to striking. His only real paths are pressure and wrestling. He's not knocking me out. If he tries to strike, that's a horrible idea. Don't do it, Merab.
And then also Merab gets people really tired. I think that we've done a really, really good job this camp of pushing really hard, but not only pushing really hard, but also being able to fight really smart in certain times, how to fight the takedowns extremely hard and then get right back to striking. And yeah, I mean, outside of those two paths to victory, what is Merab gonna do? Knock me out? Like that's not happening, you know. So this fight is gonna be striking. It's gonna be me defending the shots. And I know that he's been saying that he's gonna strike. That's not true. And if that is true, like, that's a horrible idea. Don't do that, Merab. But that's what the fight's gonna be anyway.
That's all for today's update. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss your daily dose of MMA news.